If you are interested in pursuing graduate school and you feel like you're just not good enough or you're not prepared enough, then hopefully these 3 facts will help change your mind and get you prepared to apply to graduate school this year. And the first fact that I think is super important to help change your mind is that grad school is not about being a perfect student or knowing everything. Instead, it really is about your passion. So let me explain. So much of our time in education is about acquiring knowledge and knowing things. And so when you are in undergrad, you are learning people, authors, skills, ideas, concepts, and you're expected to be able to regurgitate and explain these ideas. This is just the foundation of education. And as you move higher and higher into graduate school or into your education, you start to find out it's not about what you know, but what you can do. Meaning, if you are approaching graduate school with the goal to just be an expert, to know everything, or to know more than somebody else, grad school more times than not will be difficult or more difficult than if you are following your passion. And this is because it is impossible to know everything. And as a graduate student, you do not learn information the same way you did in undergrad. Instead, you are presented with ideas, theories, and concepts, and it is your job to formulate questions, other ideas, or new possibilities from these theories, questions, or concepts. Meaning, if you think you're successful because you can maintain information, graduate school is not about maintaining information or obtaining information, but rather creating information. And so if you are somebody who doesn't have a passion, a desire to learn more, but also a desire to think, to explore, to be challenged, then grad school can be actually really an unpleasant experience. You want to make sure that you are exploring information and are comfortable with the fact that you just may not know, and that is okay. As a result, if you focus on your passion, if you focus on what questions you have, what you don't know, and how you want to figure it out, you have the ability to craft a very strong graduate application and be very successful as a graduate student. You don't have to know everything. You don't even necessarily have to be smart. You just have to be willing to learn and practice skills so you can succeed. The next thing that I hope changes your mind is that your identity, be it your age, your race, your ability status, actually can be very helpful in your graduate success. Now, I spend a lot of time in my YouTube channel really talking about how having marginalized or historically excluded identities can make graduate school difficult. And this is true. I don't want to sugarcoat it and make it seem like it's all flowers and daisies. Academia is an institution. Academia is an institution that is very much invested in elitism, invested in white supremacy, invested in capitalism, and these things can very much be difficult for people that have marginalized identities. Our experiences as historically excluded populations comes in handy when we are doing our research. So academia bureaucratically, systemically may be challenging for people with marginalized identities. However, in relation to having passion, our identities help inform the research questions that we approach, help inform the research that we do, and the methodologies or the ways we think research should be done. And as a result, because we've been historically excluded, we have the opportunity to create knowledge that has never been experienced before. And this new knowledge is not just important to us because we're exploring it from our unique perspectives, but it's also important to the university, to research, and even possibly to the world at large. So if you are somebody with a marginalized identity and you feel like you won't belong in academia, I can say that even though it may be difficult and hard, academia will need your research. And it is so important that historically excluded ideas, perspectives, and experiences take space in academia and take up time in academia because our experiences are important and do impact how the world works. So again, it will be a challenge, and through community support and watching videos like this, you can be successful in spite of all of these challenges. But I do think it's important that you understand that your uniqueness is very important, and your uniqueness can change the world, especially if that's what your passion is. So if you're doubting that you belong in graduate school because of who you are, I want you to know it is because of who you are that you need to go to graduate school. And the next one I kind of alluded to earlier in this video, and that is graduate school is not about being smart. So if you haven't read a book in years, if you haven't written since undergrad, or if you just feel like you were barely making it through undergrad, that doesn't mean that you don't belong in graduate school. Graduate school, again, is not about obtaining knowledge, but rather creating new knowledge. So while undergrad may have been difficult because you're supposed to take in information, explain that information, or regurgitate it in a different way, while that may be a little bit of graduate school, it really is about learning how to communicate your thoughts, ideas, and theories effectively to others. And that is a skill that through time you will improve. There are a lot of parts of grad school that can be intimidating. Feeling like you have to read a lot, feeling like you have to write a lot, feeling lost, not knowing academies or like academic jargon or language. And those are real barriers and real things that can be intimidating. However, they're not the only thing about graduate school. And through time, through practice, through even watching YouTube channels like this, you will be able to develop those skill sets. And so even if you start off horrible, atrocious your first year, as time goes on, you will get better. As time goes on, you will write better. You will read better. You will speak better. You will communicate better in the academic style. So it's important to remember it's not about being smart or not smart. It's about learning new skill sets to communicate in academic language. So do not feel overwhelmed or ill-prepared to do that, because the point of graduate school is to get you there. You're not supposed to get to grad school and know it, but rather join grad school and develop those skills. Which is why I've actually created this video that talks about how do academics speak or sound so smart. This video will take you through step by step on what makes academics smart and how you can implement these strategies so you can immediately start to sound more academic. If you found two things useful, please hit the thumbs up so YouTube will share this videos with others who might need it. As always, your support helps me grow, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.